Welcome back to another episode of Sports Night in Auburn. I'm Alexa Johnson.
And I'm Vince Wolfram. We have a lot in store for you today: football, soccer, volleyball, and more.
Auburn football traveled to Athens over the weekend to play in the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Here's Eagle Eye's Zach Hard with more on the game.
It's the 126th rendition of the Deep South's oldest rivalry as the Auburn Tigers head to Athens to take on the UGA Bulldogs in front of a hostile crowd. The Tigers lose to the number 2 team in the country by a score of 42-10. Robbie Ashford got the Auburn offense started with a scramble for the Tigers' first down of the game. Georgia running back Branson Robinson led the game in rushing with 98 yards on the ground. At the end of the first quarter, with the game still knotted at 0, Auburn tried to run a fake punt on 4th and 6, but only picked up 4 yards, leaving them short of the first down marker, putting Georgia in excellent field position. Despite being stopped on the goal line by Auburn, Georgia did not put the field position to waste, punching in the first score of the game with a 1-yard rush by Kenny McIntosh. Georgia got back into the end zone on the next drive with a 1-yard rush from Dejon Edwards. Ashford put the ball on the turf while trying to scramble, giving the ball away to the dog. The fumble didn't matter, though, with the Auburn defense holding strong and forcing a 3-and-out on the next Georgia drive. A high snap left Ashford struggling to get the ball, but crisis was averted when Killian Jeter fell on it. Auburn's defense had no solution to Georgia's offense as the Bulldogs racked up 500 yards of total offense. On the first play of the fourth quarter, Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett took off, taking the ball 62 yards to the house and giving the Bulldogs a 28-3 lead. On the next Georgia drive, Bennett stepped up in the pocket and delivered to Dominic Blaylock, which later set up Edwards' third touchdown of the day. Jarquez Hunter decided to crash UGA's touchdown party, breaking one loose for the Tigers with a 62-yard reception, taking it for 6 and Auburn's first receiving touchdown in Athens since 2009. Georgia got the last laugh, beating Auburn by 32 points at home. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Zach Hard.
Thanks, Zach. You do it like no other. Auburn continues its road stretch with a game against number 9 Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi on Saturday. Auburn has not lost in Oxford since 2012. Ole Miss sits as undefeated so far with a perfect 6-0 record.
The game will be broadcast on ESPN at 11 a.m. When we come back, we'll talk about the women's soccer's recent success, volleyball sweep, and more Auburn sports.
Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. Last Wednesday, Auburn volleyball dropped their first match of the season in a close 5-set thriller at LSU. They bounced back this weekend, sweeping Georgia in both games, 3-1 on Saturday and 3-2 on Sunday. The Tigers are now 16-1 overall with a 4-1 record in conference play. In an already historic season, Auburn's 18 blocks tied the school record. Kendall Kemp has recorded 2 straight matches with 10 blocks. Sarah Morton's 26 digs were good for a career high, and Akasha Anderson grabbed her 6th double-double of the season with 21 kills and 11 digs.
Wow. The Auburn women's golf team broke the program record for a 54-hole tournament. The team's score of 29 under was good for second place in the ILI Women's Invitational. Megan Schofield shot a career-low round of 65 en route to finishing 4th individually with a score of 11 under.
Casey Weidenfeld finished in 11th individually, and freshman Sophia Knott, who made her collegiate debut, finished 52nd. The team will be back in action on October 24th when they travel to Atlanta to compete in the East Lake Cup.
The Auburn soccer team got back in the win column this week after drawing or losing the past 5 matches. On Wednesday, the Tigers traveled to Lexington to take on the Wildcats. Auburn defeated Kentucky 3-1, their first win in SEC play. The 3 balls in the back of the net marked the first time this season that Auburn has scored multiple goals against a Power 5 opponent.
M.E. Cravens netted the game winner in the 66th minute off of a free kick. Midfielder Anna Haddock got back into the goals department in the 17th minute with a goal from 30 yards out. Maddie Prohaska finished with 3 saves.
On Sunday, the Tigers continued the winning streak, defeating Mississippi State 1-0 at home. The game remained scoreless until the 80th minute when Sydney Richards crossed the ball to Carly Thatcher, who put it in the back of the net. The Tigers will look to stay in the win column when they travel to College Station to take on Texas A&M on Wednesday, October 14th.
The 6th-ranked Auburn equestrian team started their season on Friday when they took on the 5th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs in Athens. Auburn won 11-8. 2 Auburn riders earned Most Outstanding Performer honors. Freshman Alexia Tordoff earned the first award of her career, winning MOP in horsemanship. Ellie Ferdinando was awarded honors in fences.
Auburn doubles team Ariana Arsenault and Carolyn Ansari finished the ITA All-American Championships with a win against the 24th-ranked doubles team from Ohio State. The Tigers won in 2 sets, shutting them out the first 6-0 and winning the second 7-6.
Angela Okatoy, the 49th-ranked International Tennis Federation junior player, has officially signed with the Tigers and will join the team in the spring season. When asked why she chose Auburn, Angela stated, "I chose Auburn because I was raised the Tiger way."
As you should. The Auburn softball team continued with their preseason exhibition matches on Sunday when they played Alabama State in a 10-inning bout. The Tigers shut down the Hornets' offense while the Auburn bats were buzzing. Auburn would go on to win 18-0, scoring in 6 of the 10 innings.
Auburn pitchers were lights out in the 10th inning affair, striking out 20 of the 35 batters faced while just allowing 1 hit. Maddie Penta got the start and struck out 9 batters in 4 innings of work. Annabelle Wedra struck out 6 of 9 batters faced, while freshman Emma Rolfe struck out 5 and allowed the lone Alabama State hit.
As for the Auburn offense, sophomores Jessie Blaine and Abby Smith and senior Lindsey Garcia all totaled 2 RBIs in the match. When we come back, we'll talk about Auburn in the NFL. You're watching Sports Night in Auburn.
Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. With dominant plays up front and breakout performances, it was a standout week for some Auburn-made players in the NFL. In the Jets' overwhelming win over the Dolphins, Carl Lawson was responsible for 2 tackles, a sack, 7 quarterback hits, and a forced fumble that set up a New York touchdown. The defensive end has now a sack in back-to-back games with the 4th highest overall PFF grade among all defenders in NFL Week 5 with a 92.5 rating.
Another impressive defensive performance came from Carolina's Derek Brown. Despite a Panthers loss, the former first-round pick did not make it easy for the 49ers, deflecting 2 passes and blocking a field goal.
Coming into Sunday's game in London with 1 catch this season, Giants wide receiver Darius Slayton had his breakout performance, tallying 6 receptions for 79 yards.
Going 3 for 3 on Monday, Raiders kicker Daniel Carlson is a perfect 15 for 15 in field goals this season.
The NBA gets started next week with several former Auburn players on rosters. 3rd overall pick in last year's NBA draft, Jabari Smith got a slight knock in preseason play and is listed as day-to-day, but expects to play in the Rockets' season opener against the Atlanta Hawks next Wednesday.
2 former Tigers, Isaac Okoro and Sharif Cooper, teamed up this offseason, joining forces on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Dangerous duo.
The Cavs start their season against the Toronto Raptors on Wednesday.
Walker Kessler found himself on the Utah Jazz after a blockbuster trade that sent the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, to the Minnesota Timberwolves in a package deal, including Kessler. The Utah Jazz also start on Wednesday against the Denver Nuggets.
Josh Donaldson is the lone former Tiger competing in the MLB playoffs. Donaldson went a perfect 2 for 2 with a walk-in game, one of the ALDS. Donaldson got himself in some trouble in the 5th inning. After hitting a ball deep to the right field, the 3rd baseman started his home run trot. The ball bounced off the top of the wall, and by the time Donaldson realized, it was too late, and he was tagged out at first.
The mistake would prove inconsequential as the Yankees would win the game 4-1. Donaldson and the Yankees will play in Game 2 on Thursday, and Eagle Eye will follow Donaldson throughout the Yankees' playoff run. For more information on Auburn athletics, be sure to check out our website at eagleeyeauburn.com and stay up to date on all things Auburn sports on our Twitter at EETV_sports. I'm Vince Wolfram.
And I'm Alexa. Thank you for watching. Good night and War Eagle.